activist Eugene Debs brought his rabble-rousing brand of socialism to Canton, Ohio last week.
In Canton, Ohio, eine flammende Aufrührer.
One thing we all know for sure, the Rockefellers of this world are blind. Every move that this ruling class makes in their game of greed hastens their own doom.
Debs has single-handedly organized labor unions throughout the country, and he has often run afoul of the law because of his left-wing views.
When we become unionized and working together for the common good, we'll soon realize that we have no need for the Rockefellers of this world.
Eugene Debs is a great man, John. That he is, Michael. He's a hero to every working man in America.
That we will transfer the title deeds of the railroads, the telegraph lines, the oil fields, the mills, and the great industries to the people. And only then shall we have industrial democracy. Only then shall we be a free nation.
This is the latest in a series of inflammatory speeches, and some observers think Debs may be facing federal charges for advocating the overthrow of the government, a violation of the Espionage Act.
Time did little Louis say deliveries were made?
2 a.m.
You gotta get yourself another informer.
We'll give it a few minutes. You know, cigars are for smoking. I don't think it's good for you to be chewing on them like you do.
Thanks, Mom.
Sensitive.
Odd time for a milk delivery, isn't it?
I smell beer.
More like barrels of beer.
Little Louis may be a rat, but he's a very reliable rat.
Let's make the pinch.
Wait a minute. Lakefront Farms, that's a real dairy, right?
So?
So, usually the names on beer trucks are phony, so you can't trace them. Let's see where he takes us. Looks like Lakefront Dairies has a little labor problem.
It sure does. Wow. Mr. Bugs ran himself. What's he doing here?
We ought to give this to the boss, huh?
So, what's your theory?
Moran's lost the North Side and the Sheridan Wave Club. We think he's expanding into the strike-breaking business.
Who runs this dairy?
There's a guy named Lyman, and he's been known for hiring goons with ball bats in the past. That's why he's labor peace now, even though he's not known for giving his workers a very fair shake.
All right, Malone and I will go have a talk with this Mr. Lyman. Meantime, work out shifts. I want this lakefront dairy staked out round the clock.
I'll get the map for you.
Good.
And talking of labor disputes, you read your paper this morning? They just picked him up as he got off the train here in Chicago.
Eugene Debs is no revolutionary. He's not going to lead an insurrection. What possible threat does he pose to the safety of our nation?
Internal security has been given a big push in Washington area. Johnson had no choice but to prosecute.
We've got our priorities screwed up. The government's worried about political agitators, while the gangsters in this city are destroying it from within. Now, I'm no friend of socialism, but you can't throw a man in prison for speaking his mind. Now, where the hell is this dairy?
10-hour day! 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 10-hour day!
Hey, Lyman! Clear the gate, Quinn. You're trespassing on company property.
We were hoping to hear a settlement offer this morning, Lyman.
There's never been a union at Lakefront Farms, and there never will be. I found some new drivers who know the value of a decent wage in hard times.
Goons, scabs, and professional strike breakers.
You wouldn't know the value of a decent wage if you had to work for one, Lyman. Clear the gate. I've got a delivery scheduled to meet. Open it up.
10-hour day! 10-hour day! 10-hour day!
I'll keep you company, Mike. Get lost. We need somebody to go by bail.
I'll get right to the point. One of your trucks was observed delivering beer last night.
I have many trucks, many employees. The truck was probably stolen.
Stolen and then returned here? My men also reported seeing a known racketeer on your premises last night.
The strike has forced me to enlist the services of a security firm. I was assured that all their personnel were certified by the state of Illinois.
I didn't know that Bugs Moran was certified for anything other than being criminally insane.
I don't know any Bugs Moran. If my trucks have been used for any illegal activity, I can assure you I will look into it.
Fine. Just don't be surprised if we do the same.
Don't worry about Ness.
What in the hell do you think you're doing using my trucks to deliver beer? I hired you to break a strike.
We're working out, Mr. Lyman.
And I want results, not promises. If you can't do the job, I'll hire somebody who can.
Relax, Mr. Lyman. You're in good hands. I got a few surprises from Michael Gleason and Mr. John Quinn.
Excuse me, Al. Can we talk?
Talk, Frank.
Business, Al.
Go ahead.
I found out how Moran's making his Southside deliveries. He's using milk trucks.
Check.
Al, you think we ought to be talking in front of this guy?
Look, Frank, I could care less how Moran makes his deliveries, all right?
He's also busting up a strike over at Lakefront Farms.
You keep him away from the unions, Frank, all right? The labor, that's the business of the future. I don't want Moran anywhere near it. When prohibition's over, we're gonna have to go legit. And if we control the unions, then we control the employers. Checkmate. You should try playing chess, Frank. It's good for the mind. You know, Frank, this dairy strike thing, this might be exactly what we've been looking for. Do whatever you gotta do. Convince these union guys how much we want to help them. It's very important.
Look, Al. Ain't you worried about talking in front of this guy?
What, him?
He's deaf.
Don't cry over spilt milk, huh? Set him up again, huh?
Are you John Quinn?
Who wants to know?
Saw your picture in the Telegraph. We've been following your flight. We can help you win your strike. I'm Frank Nitti. I work for Al Capone. Al doesn't like what's been happening for you and your guys.
We have no use for the likes of Al Capone.
Mr. Capone isn't the bad guy he's sometimes made out to be. Look, I've known him all my life. He's a man of the people. He's for the people. You know, he feeds the hungry. He's got a working man's heart.
So, in other words, you're here to make a contribution to the strike fund.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you believe this? If I didn't know better, I'd think Nitti was leaning on it.
You know who's been hiring the scabs that have been driving the trucks that have been busting up your strike?
Yeah, a rat named Bugs Moran.
We once put Mr. Moran out of business. Selling you out is his attempt to get him back in.
I'll be straight with you. I don't want this union involved with racketeers.
Why don't you just think of us as potential allies? We hope you win your strike. You help us put Moran back in that hole we put him in a long time ago. See, we work together, help each other out. We kill two birds with one stone.
I know your kind of people. You helped me once, I owe you forever. I'll stick with one bird and one stone, thanks.
Call us. Quinn. We'll be in touch.
Blazowicz?
The judge rejected our motion to dismiss the charges.
Does that mean your client goes to jail?
What do you think? In this society, incarceration is a badge of honor.
Mr. Debs, are you a communist?
As you must know, I must be exceedingly careful as to what I say, and even more careful as to how I say it.
Are you planning another campaign for the presidency, Mr. Debs?
Oh, I don't have much faith in leaders anymore, not even myself. People are looking for a Moses to lead them out of this capitalist wilderness. They'll have to find somebody not yet known.
You got close to 1 million votes in 1920.
Oh, and I was serving a 10-year sentence in federal prison at the time. I don't want anybody to follow me, or anybody else. I wouldn't lead them into the promised land even if I could. Because if I could lead them in, somebody else could lead them out.
This way, Mr. Debs.
Are you planning an appeal?
Of course there's going to be an appeal. It's going to be done today, it will be placed today, and that's all I have comments for.
Tony, what's your feeling? They looking for a way into this union?
Nitty was leaning on Quinn pretty hard, that's for sure.
Capone gets his hooks into organized labor, he'll destroy every honest union in this city.
But what's really in it for him, though?
Capone doesn't give a damn about the working man. He just sees organized labor as another racket, like gambling or prostitution. And the union dues alone must be worth a fortune.
What do we know about the leader of this union, John Quinn?
Professional organizer, effective, idealistic, a real leader of men.
I want to have a talk with him. He may not know what he's getting into if he signs on with Capone.
Hey, wait a minute. Quinn will probably regard you as the enemy. Don't forget the feds have been harassing him for years. His arrest sheet is nearly as long as Deb's.
I may be able to win him over. I have to try.
Working on my speech for the meeting tonight.
Sure it'll be a good one, John.
This may be our last chance to convince Lyman we aren't backing down.
It's a hit!
Nobody told you to shoot the guy, Frank.
Look, you said do what you gotta do to keep Moran out of labor and to get us in. Now, Quinn had to realize he needs us. Hitting Gleason was a way of letting him know. But Quinn had an attitude, all right? We had to make a strong move, so we did it.
You went too far, Frank. What you did was wrong. If I could undo it, I would. You do what you gotta do to make it right.
Membership has taken up a collection to pay for the funeral and to help you get back on your feet. It won't be much, but we'll all get through this together, Mary, with God's help.
That gentleman insisted on paying for the funeral expenses.
You shouldn't have done that. We take care of our own.
Well, I felt it was the least he could do for a friend. It's for the widow.
You
You're gonna need us, Quinn. Bugs Moran's a psychopath, a cold-blooded killer. You can't beat him alone. Mr. Capone would like to have lunch with you. Tomorrow.
We don't want to end up like Gleason!
Let me finish! You had your chance, Quinn. Let someone else speak.
Let him talk, Mick.
Even in death, Brother Gleason has made a magnificent contribution to our cause. We have the attention of the entire city now.
It wasn't worth it, Quinn. Ask Gleason's widow.
Mike Gleason was my best friend. No one knew better than he that we're engaged in a war where people get hurt.
It's not worth it, Quinn. No more. Put it to a vote.
No vote.
Yes. Put it to a vote.
I'll tell you this. We are on the side of history. Our families will be eternally grateful for the courage that we have shown here and for the sacrifices that we have made for our children's future.
Hell of a speech. Who are you? Elliot Ness, Treasury agent. I'd like to talk to you about the death of Michael Gleason.
Why don't you frame someone for it? That's what your feds did with Eugene Debs. That's what you did with Joe Hill. You know who Joe Hill was?
Union organizer. Convicted of murder, executed by firing squad 20 years ago. A lot of people believe he was innocent.
Innocent? Do you know what his last words were before you feds pulled the triggers?
Don't mourn. Organize.
The words of a guilty man?
I heard about your meeting with Frank Nitti. You're asking for trouble if you think Capone can help you win this labor strike.
I guess a union man can always be accused of asking for trouble. I'm not going to debate strike tactics with you, Mr. Ness.
You remember anything about the car? Bystander told us the shooter was in the back
I
seat.
didn't see a damn thing. It's the only reason I'm alive. Gleason pushed me out of the way.
Look, the big racket's been trying to get into organized labor for years. You're being dragged into the middle of something you don't understand, Mr. Quinn. These people you're talking with, they won't help you. They'll use you. You give me a call if you want to talk.
The talk is getting us nowhere. I say we take another vote. Time to go back to work. What the fuck is it mean?
John, what's it gonna
Come on, Mick. Give
We gotta sit.
patience.
Just sit down. I can't sit down. I want to go back to work. Get it, John.
Story Green. She's some writer, Frank. I like her style. What do you think about her?
I hear she's supposed to be a good looker, too.
Yeah, but she keeps writing about this Ness. I think it's about time she writes about me. Huh? Should give her a call. Tell her Al Capone wants to give her an interview.
I don't know, Al. She likes that Ness guy. She might misquote you or something.
Yeah, but I think I gotta take that chance, Frank. I want to meet this broad. Hey. Good to meet you, John. I didn't think you were gonna make it.
I was at the courthouse all morning. I had to bail out some of my guys.
So why don't you give Frank a call? I mean, that's exactly the kind of situation that we can help you with. You want some lunch?
Depends on what I gotta do for it.
You ain't gonna do nothing but eat. I'm having the fish.
I know all about you. I read the newspapers.
I don't believe everything you read, John. I mean, most of what the newspapers say, you know, it's a bunch of fairy tales. You know, my wife's Irish.
So is mine.
Then you know. One thing about Irish women, they're gonna stay Irish their whole lives, huh? Keep you in line.
Here he comes. Mr. Lyman. Mr. Capone would like to say hello.
A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Capone.
You too, Mr. Lyman. I've been hearing a lot about you. Please, Say hello to my good friend, John Quinn. I hear you two been doing business together.
We are not doing business together.
Well, maybe you should consider it. Mr. Quinn is a very good businessman.
A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Capone. You set me up, Capone. You knew he was going to be here, didn't you?
That's the way business is done, Johnny. You know what I like about you? You stand right up. You say what you gotta say. I like that. Did you see the way Lyman looked at you? Him seeing you sitting here having lunch with me, he ain't ever gonna look at you the same way again.
You got your message across.
Good. Take care of yourself. We'll talk later. I like him, Frank. He's got a lot of heart. I don't want nothing happening to him.
Oh, I hate the idea of bringing gangsters into the Union, but if we don't play ball with Capone, I'm not sure we can win.
And what about your self-respect, John? How will you be feeling about yourself when you get up in the morning? And 10 years from now, will you be proud to tell your children how you won this great victory?
When my father brought me over as a lad, and we landed on Ellis Island with just enough money for a train to Chicago, we would have gone hungry on that train if it weren't for a young guy we met, a socialist who was on the lam from the feds. He shared his food with us and told us the story of the exploitation of the American working man, how they discarded him like an old newspaper when his usefulness was over. When we got off in Chicago, the feds were waiting for the guy. They beat him to within an inch of his life right in front of us and dragged him off in cuffs.
Suppose your friend was sitting right here at the table with us. What would he say to using racketeers to further the cause?
I don't know.
You see, the liquor business is a great business. I mean, Joe Kennedy up in Boston knows it. Some of our brothers in Canada, they know it too. See, the only problem with the liquor business is that after Prohibition, it's going to be very competitive. Now, the way I figure it, there's going to be thousands of new saloons, new restaurants, new liquor stores opening up all over the country. And the only solution to that problem is to organize the industries from top to bottom. And the way to do that, the key to it, is through the unions, particularly the drivers. Mark my words, Miss Green. Within 3 years after Prohibition, we're going to be making a profit on every olive and every martini sold in America. And I'm talking about a totally legitimate business here.
Vertical integration.
I guess you could call it that. You're a very intelligent woman, Miss Green. Extremely classy.
Thank you.
You mind if I ask you a personal question? You see, I'm kind of a fan of yours. I mean, I read your stuff. You're a great writer.
Thank you.
I mean, you could write anything you want. You could write books, plays, anything. So why in God's name do you work for a newspaper?
Are you involved in the lakefront farm strike, Mr. Capone?
See, I wouldn't let my wife or my sister work in the newsroom. I mean, it's full of booze hounds and degenerates, you know. Why don't you come work for me? I run one of the most successful corporations in America. I could use a spokesperson. A woman like you. Someone very smart and extremely good looking.
I'm a journalist, Mr. Capone, not a flack.
I mean, you insult me, Miss Green. You see, I wouldn't insult you by offering you a lowly job as a flack. Care for a cookie? You mind telling me something? You know, I've been reading all these articles that you've been writing about this publicity hound, this beer barrel breaker. You know, the guy who arrests truck drivers? Ness. Why do you like this guy so much?
What makes you think I like him? He's news, Mr. Capone, just like you are.
I'm better news. More exciting.
Better go.
Hey, Dory. Please. Think about my offer. I meant it. I find you to be a very remarkable woman.
I had nothing to do with the Gleason hit.
You've been lying to me, Moran.
Why would I stick my neck out like that?
Look, I know exactly who I'm dealing with.
I didn't clip the guy. Hey, Lyman, think about it. I'm a Mick. Gleason was a Mick. If I did clip the guy, I'd be on the hit list for every hooligan on the North Side. It was the Guineas that did it, to force Quinn to run to them for help.
Quinn had lunch with Capone Thursday. This is dangerous. Very dangerous.
Don't be afraid of the Guineas. Capone is lazy. He's going soft. Learn to relax. Situation's under control.
Quinn's a good man. Moral, committed. You know it just on meeting him. But he's also naive. He won't listen to anyone carrying a badge.
You can't really blame him, can you? How about getting somebody else to talk to him?
Who?
Well, I was reading this article the other day in the paper about Eugene Debs. He has to be one of Quinn's heroes. And I'm sure that Debs doesn't want Al Capone getting involved in organized labor any more than you do.
So you're looking for a full-time job? Why don't you come work for me?
Well, this is certainly an unexpected pleasure.
I'm here on business, Dory. I read your interview with Al Capone. Did he talk in any way about the Gleason hit?
I can't tell you anything other than what was in the article. Except that he was much more charming than I thought he'd be.
Dory, Quinn's a good man, but he's getting sucked under. This is bigger than he is. If Capone gets his hooks into organized labor...
I know.
You interviewed Eugene Debs. Did he like you?
Well, I think he knows he got a fair shake from me. Why?
I need to ask a favor of him. He's one of Quinn's heroes. I'm hoping Debs will be willing to sit down and talk with John Quinn. Maybe he can explain to Quinn just what he's getting into.
I promise you, Mr. Ness, if he's been mistreated, you'll hear about it from the press.
He's being treated very well. I made sure of that.
This may be a first in the history of the American labor movement.
Mr. Debs, it's an honor.
I don't believe the Fed's ever convened a strike meeting before. Certainly not in the bowels of a maximum security prison.
I'll get out of your way. Don't hesitate to let the guard know if you need anything.
You know, the only thing that Al Capone and I agree about is the constitutionality of the 18th Amendment.
Debs, I have to be realistic. I have to worry about putting food on the table for our members and for their families. How do I fight owners like Lyman, who hire goons to beat us into submission, to kill us?
Well, all I can say is that if you win with Capone's help, you'll become his errand boy. Your dues and your pension fund will be drained into the Capone sewer.
He's not as bad a man as you think he is, Mr. Debs.
Did you read Dory Green's article about Capone?
Yes.
She described Capone's hands, John. His hands are manicured. No calluses. She called them elegant. It's a metaphor. Those aren't working man's hands, and they don't belong to a man with a working man's heart either. Think about it, John. Next time you see Capone, look at his hands.
Quinn. I don't know what Deb's told you in there. I can imagine what you've been hearing from Capone. John, it's up to you. I think you're a good man. I think you're a man of principle. Listen to that voice inside of you. Don't sell yourself short.
Well, which way is he gonna go?
I don't know, Mike. I honestly don't know.
That's it? I'll take your offer to the membership, Mr. Lyman, but I'm going to recommend they vote against it.
Don't worry, Quinn will be here.
Did he say anything about why he called the meeting? Lyman made an unacceptable offer. He agreed to the 30-cent wage increase, but he refuses to recognize the union. And he rejected our proposals for both the pension plan and the 10-hour day. At least we got our jobs back. We've come this far, Brother Megan. We'd be crazy to back down now.
Trouble learning. You don't learn the hard way. You don't learn the easy way. Well, I guess you're gonna have to learn the only way. What it to a vote, Quinn? The strike's over. Finish the job, boys.
How are you, John? I want you to know something. You're a hero to every decent person in this city. You showed a lot of courage, John. You surprised a lot of people, including me. You took this strike a hell of a lot further than anyone ever thought you would. Your job from now on is to rest and get better. We're gonna take care of everything else for you. We're gonna need you at full strength when this thing is over. I wanted to give you these. My mother gave them to me. I'm with you, John.
Johnson, is that you?
Johnson. We're here to deliver a message. The strike of yours. It's causing the city of Chicago a lot of distress. Mr. Capone thinks maybe you're not aware of the suffering.
Our kids ain't getting enough they need to stay healthy.
Unfortunately, Mr. Capone, he's in a position to bring fresh milk down from Milwaukee for Sonny and his classmates.
But most people ain't so lucky. Their kids' teeth are going soft.
That's a standard contract we negotiated with Diamond Freightways and some of the other delivery outfits. Mr. Capone would like you to read it and then to sign it.
You're out of your mind.
Just think about it, Lyman. Finally, the decision's yours. Oh, by the way, you better get that. I heard there was an explosion at your dairy. A big explosion.
Boss, we've got big problems. The warehouse just went up.
We have won a great victory. We now work for the first unionized dairy in the city of Chicago. We, on this side of the table, have a lot to be proud of. We all have jobs waiting for us. We have a pension plan and a 10-hour day. We'll all be back to work tomorrow morning.
I just had a word with a friend of mine up at the 23rd Precinct. He's got a witness who might have seen one of the Gleason killers.
Who?
Well, judging from the description, it could be our old friend Frank Nitti. The only snag is that the witness has suddenly developed a case of amnesia once he realized that Nitti worked for Capone.
Capone, that son of a bitch. Congratulations.
Maybe now that the strike is over, you'll find time to go after Bugs Moran. For the killing of Michael Gleason, remember?
Well, we want Moran for a lot of things, but the Gleason hit isn't one of them.
We think Capone killed your friend, John. Now he's pretending to be your ally.
He's playing you like a $2 fiddle.
Of course, you would say anything to tarnish a labor victory, wouldn't you?
It's no victory if you have to sell out every moral principle that you believe in.
I've sold out nothing. The victory is for these guys, Mr. Ness. They put their lives on the line. That's why we won. We have history on our side. We're part of a crest and wave, and nothing you and the feds can do will stop it.
John, good to see you. Come on in. You know, we've been worried about you. I know that Al's been very concerned.
Johnny! How you doing? It's good to see you. How you feeling? Huh?
Much better, thanks.
It's nice here, huh? It's comfortable. Well, that's the way I like it.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush with you, Johnny. I think that you're a natural born leader. You're the kind of guy that we've been looking for. You got courage, you're a fighter, and you're a proven winner. You're also a man of the people. And believe me, that's a very special gift. You're the kind of guy who could front our labor deals for years to come. That's why I want you to run for the Labor Steering Committee and the Building Trades Council.
Those are elected positions.
Trust me, John.
You run for those positions. With our help, you're gonna win.
I wanted to give this to you personally. A healthy strike fund is the strongest bargaining chip.
That's a lot of money.
And we're going to keep you real busy, John. There's no question about that. The steering committee meets once a month, but that's just a formality. There's a bunch of older guys, let's face it. You can't expect them to think like we do. Now, the first piece of business is I want to organize the cab drivers. And I want you to be in charge of that. Now, we got a little bit of an edge in this cab situation. Turns out your friend Lyman is a major stockholder in the State Street Cab Company. Now, that's the largest outfit in the city. Now, you tell Lyman, if he wants his milk delivered on time, he's got to play ball with the cabs.
I can't do that, Al. It wouldn't be right. I already have a deal with Lyman.
Lyman will understand, John. He's a businessman. Trust me. They do these kind of things to each other all the time. It's kind of like a big chess game. You want to ride home?
I'll take the streetcar, thanks.
The streetcar, huh? You're a labor leader now, John. Labor leaders, they don't take no streetcars. You It's yours.
You don't have to give me a car.
I know it, John. I want you to have it. You and me, John. We're gonna do great things together. We're gonna do great things for the working man. Come here. I'm proud of you. Now get out of here, you bum. Hey, you don't like this one, we'll get you another one in a week, huh? Give my best to the family, John.
We lost him.
Perhaps we did.
Is this the way life is, Mike? Or is it just the way life is in this town?
It's Chicago, Elliot.
Listen to that voice inside you. Inside you. Inside you.
Capone's hands are manicured. Look at his calluses. She called them elegant.
You're a good man. Don't sell yourself short. John, it's up to you.
Sir, you want yourself a car? It's all yours. I'm a streetcar man.
Oh, Pete. God bless you, pal.